I think Cucurella is shadowed by how he is so unpopular by rival fans. I don't get why people don't like Cucurella. A lot of people think he's
I
annoying.
don't dislike Cucurella. I mean, we're just asking me if you think he's better than Timber.
I'd say best left back league. I'd probably say yeah. Right now, I'd say so. But right back, no. Or best fullback, no. But left back, probably yeah.
That's why what annoys me sometimes about these conversations. When we're talking about who is the best, we're talking about at the top end of the scale. There's only one the best. And if I tell you that your guy is not the best, all of a sudden I'm a hater. Like saying Cucurella is the second best is not hating on Cucurella.
No, I don't disagree. I think that's quite fair, to be honest with you. I think that's quite fair. I don't think you're wrong. I think that I mean, people saying Jules won, so someone goes fact check that. So I've just gone on to Squawker. So far this season, just need to make sure I'm putting all the numbers in. So Jules contested. So Jules contested. Jules won by Jurrian Timber 43. Defensive Jules won by Cucurella 28. But that doesn't give you a percentage. I'm looking here.
There's a 15-point gap. And apparently Chelsea defend more. So
okay, hang on. Let me go to here that gives you percentages. So here we go. So defensive duel win percentage. This is this season. Let's put in last season's as well, so we can get a bit more of a because it's been a much smaller sample size. And let's put in last season's as well for both of these guys. So this season, Cucurella's defensive duel win rate is 63%. So a little bit higher than not quite just over 50%. It's a little bit more, 63%. Last season was only 39% successful duel rate.
Fair enough. Improvement.
Timber, he has gone down this year though. Last year was at 93% of his defensive duels he won. This year it has gone down, but it's at 85%. So when I sat there and say over the last 2 years, I barely see him lose a duel, we see that there. The ball carrying element, in terms of, I think that's worked out is in the percentiles of which they sit in here. Where has it gone? Ball carriers. Yeah, I mean, Cucurella is in the 24th percentile. Timbers, this is a versus all Premier League players, is in the 74th percentile. Considering their defenders, I don't expect them to be in the top. I think the midfielders are going to dominate that area. But on those defensive duels, it's massive. The only area defensively that this season Cucurella has been better in, he's won a lot. He won 67% of his aerial duels compared to 43% of Timber. That's last year, though. But last year it was crazy. Last year, Cucurella only won 11% of his aerial duels, where Timber won 82% of them. So
yeah.
Over the
here's the other thing, Terry.
He has been superior, and that's how I viewed it. And the stats here are backing it up.
And Terry, here's the other thing that Timber does that Cucurella definitely does not do. I've ever seen Cucurella play at right back, because Timber can play at left back at the exact same level that he plays at right back. You can put him on either side, and he will perform the exact same output. I've never seen Cucurella play on the right-hand side, so he's one-dimensional.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a very good player. Someone here said, Terry, according to the Premier League website,
yeah, and the Papa says he also plays center half.
Has more tackles, interceptions, and blocks than Timber. But the thing is, having more. If you again, the problem is with the Premier League website for stats on defenders. If I just go to their stats now, and I know this is going to come out this way, so I'm going to go to their website. I'm going to click on statistics. And we're going to go to the defensive statistics for players, right? So we're going to go to the defensive one. So like tackles, so this is teams, but tackles won. Wolves, Palace, Brighton, Leeds, Man United, Everton, Bournemouth are all at the top. All of the better teams are in the bottom half of that league table because they don't have to defend as much. But if we go to the player statistics here, because it's important to look at players. For instance, the goalies that make the most saves are nearly always at the worst clubs. Very, very rarely are Reyes and Donnarumma's forced to make as many saves as a goalkeeper. Most of the time, the guy with the most saves in the league is in a basic stat is a relegation team because they get the ball shot at them a lot. So if you put in interceptions, let's put in clearances, and let's just do clearances. You can't do more than one at once. So clearances this year, actually, but I'm not surprised. Van Dijk's right up the top actually for clearances. But Liverpool had to do a lot of clearing this year. But you look at the other players on there. You've got Joachim Andersen, Michael Keane. You've got Pascal Struijk. You've then got Tarkowski. You've got Joe Rodon. You've got Sepp van der Berg. You've got Kilman of West Ham, and you've got Maxim, the Burnley defender. So there is one player in the top 10 who's like from one of the teams that is considered the best in the league in the clearances. Let's go to interceptions as an example. Caicedo is right at the top. Fantastic. But then you've got Tyler Adams. You've got Josh Laurent. Then you've got Hartman. I don't really know who that is. I know he plays for Burnley. James Gardner, Bogle. Then you've got Reece James. Then you've got Romero. Then you've got Noah Sadiki from Sunderland. So again, on that defensive metric, there's a couple from the top teams in there. And then the other one you mentioned was tackles, right? Let's find. Let's find tackles. Why can't total tackles? So Caicedo's up there, which we could get, but Jurrian Timber's actually on that list ahead of. He's in third place, so the Premier League website can't be right this season because I'm on it now and it says he's second. Then you've got Tyrick Mitchell, then you've got Paulinia, then Longstaff, then Bogle, then Elliot Anderson, then Gomez, then Hugo from Wolves, and then Daniel
Hugo Bueno.
Yeah, Bueno, that's one. Hugo Bueno. So again, on the most tackles, you've got a Chelsea and an Arsenal player. Outside of that, all the other players in there are going to be pushing for Europe, mid-table, or relegation side. So the defensive stats, you nearly always see the mid and bottom half the tables at the top of it. Yeah. So you've got to be very careful. What you've got to look at, and I can't believe the Premier League haven't done this yet, is you've got to look at the percentage of these things won. So how many duels, how many tackles that they're attempting do they win? Because that gives you a much better metric for how good they are defensively. Because if in a game, you're in Timber, as only again, we have to. I don't even have to. If there's a stat here for tackles attempted, because it's just tackles. Tackles made.
The other thing is, Terry, when
the fact that he's won 85% of his defensive duels, you might find that he's tried to make 35 tackles and won 25 of them. You might get someone on there that's made 28 tackles, but they've attempted 60. So the total amount they've won, if they're missing almost half or more than half of their tackles, they're not as good as somebody with less total tackles who's attempted less. And I think the stats can be misleading like that.
There's also this route, by the way, because you just think about it as an attacking side. Wouldn't you not rather prefer attack the weaker fullback? So there's a lot of stats that are just missing from there because a lot of teams are going to go, for instance, for Arsenal. Although I wouldn't say that the other Calafiori side is such a weak fullback. But I would imagine that Calafiori is doing a lot more defending this year than Jurrian Timber because teams are going to try to attack our left rather than our right. Like in the NFL, for instance, the best cornerbacks, which is probably the best comparison of a position, don't get the ball thrown their way because people are afraid that cornerback is going to make an interception or get a turnover. And they see the other side as more of a side that they're going to go to attack and be more fruitful. So there's also
on Data MB, when you look at the stats, and I'm not surprised that the nearest to Timber this season is Livramento, barring he does better, more carrying of the ball, better crossing. Progressive passing, possession one, there's a huge difference in that. He's in the Livramento is in the bottom 4 percentile, where or in the top 4 percentile, whichever way around you want to look at it, where Timber is in the 70 percentile. So he wins the ball back a lot more, still better in the defensive duels, but closer to him this year than Cucurella. But Livramento is, again, a great shout. And I think for me, in case people are mishearing this, Terry is searching the stats that favor Timber. No, I went and searched the stats that someone told me were on the Premier League website. That's why I went there and I went and had a look. But it's like when you look at goalkeeping stats, you'll always see goalkeepers down on the Premier League website that are in the bottom teams that have more. Oh, they made more saves. Oh, look, he intercepted the ball more. Oh my God, he prevented more goals.
Thing. That's not a good thing.
yeah, it's not a good. It's not always a good thing. Yeah, no, I agree with you completely.
I was seeing Arsenal fans last year saying that Aaron Ramsdale had more saves than David Raya. I'm like, but Aaron Ramsdale was playing for Southampton.
I don't want Mikey Bailey near the top of it. I want in the bottom. That means
I hear you. I actually rate goalkeepers more that don't have much to do for 30 minutes and then have to make a good save and make it. The concentration levels are massive. But this is true. United did nearly sign Cucurella, but it wasn't anything to do with his Euros or his. That's actually Poch did that for Spurs. Sorry, for Chelsea. Chelsea were very happy to let Man United get him, but what Poch did is Poch went against the owner's wishes and played him in the League Cup game, so he was cup tied, and Man United pulled out the deal. So he would have become a Man United player. And by the way, he's fantastic. I'd love him to be our left back right now. I think Cucurella is a very, 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 very good player. But if someone said to me right now, you can pick a left back or a right back, I would pick. Yeah, I would if I could only pick. I have to sign a fullback, and it's either Cucurella or Timber. I am going for Timber. I do think he is marginally better. Terry defends Timber more than Luke Shaw and Maz. Listen, don't put Luke Shaw and Mazwari in the same category. I actually think Mazwari is fantastic. I wouldn't say he's the best in the league or anything, but I think he's been an absolutely brilliant signing for Manchester United, and I think we'd be a much, much worse team without him. There's no doubt about that. So let's not start talking a lot of old nonsense when it comes to Mazwari. He's been excellent for Manchester United. One of our better signings in the last 4 or 5 years. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I don't know if this new system actually suits him too well.
I was thinking that. I think he's a better, one thing that I think I would disagree with what Ruben has done over obviously a lot of things he's not done correctly, which is I don't like the formation at all in terms of the players that you have, the personnel that you have. So Mazraoui would be an excellent right back, but you have systems where you're playing Ahmad at right wing back, so you're not necessarily utilizing Mazraoui in his best position. He's become more of a right center back, hasn't he, under Ruben?
Yeah, no, I agree. Boys, listen.